Hi everyone, now I will be voicing videos on the Image Game channel. Thank you for staying with us during this difficult time. In this video, I will tell you about 20 new cooperative games that can be played in a company of 4 players. The first of them is Warhammer Darktide, which will take you to a dark science fiction world. The game is a first-person shooter, in which up to 4 players fight with hordes of monsters. The game is simultaneously difficult, beautiful, and violent. Darktide stands out as one of the best cooperative games of 2022. The combination of intense gameplay and atmosphere truly contributes to replayability. Although newcomers to first-person action games may not see anything attractive in it, however, those who are looking for an interesting and bloody shooter to play with a friend will find hours and hours of enjoyment in Darktide. Back 4 Blood, the most anticipated zombie shooter from the authors of Left 4 Dead, who once again put the world in front of the threat of a global pandemic. A new generation of deadly virus parasite not only raises the dead but also turns them into biological mutants. Here, you have 8 characters to choose from, a giant map filled with zombies and a large arsenal of weapons. Corridor levels are a thing of the past. Now the obsessed and the cleaners fight on a small arena in a royal battle style, and this arena constantly shrink. Distinctive feature is also a card system with random effects, providing gameplay diversity. Marauders, a cooperative first-person shooter set in a dystopian universe where various adventurers have access to space technology and can travel through the galaxy. Some of these travelers decide to take on a noble cause and start hijacking trade ships. You will have to join the space pirates and raid an entire planet. This will be done in a group of 4 fighters, carrying out missions in space and on the surface of the planet. Our spaceship is used as a base from which players carry out raids on other spacecraft and orbital stations. And the resources earned will have to be invested in upgrading the base, opening new sections, and gaining access to new missions. Ready or Not, the game is still in early access, but for many it has already become one of the best co-op games. The attention to detail in the visualization sets it apart from others. Here you have to go through various scenarios, destroying criminals along with your special forces team. If you're looking for a hardcore tactical shooter, you've got it. Gunfire Reborn. In this co-op FPS roguelike, a squad of 1 to 4 player cats clear out dungeons that are not at all gloomy, following the chain from conditional rooms to the most powerful opponents and valuable rewards. Each level is filled with various monsters, the difficulty of which gradually increases. After each stage, you can find a chest that will allow you to improve your character. During the passage of the stages, you can choose alternative routes that offer more difficulties and more rewards. GTFO is a cooperative first-person shooter that has nothing superfluous. You and 3 other players take on the role of prisoners who are forced to explore a huge underground complex in search of artifacts. You will have to search for equipment and weapons around, as well as work together with your team to escape from the terrible creatures that have filled the complex. A successful escape depends on the resources and artifacts found, but they are all stored in the most remote corners of the dungeon, where the concentration of monsters just rolls over. World War Z: Aftermath. Another cooperative shooter about the zombie apocalypse, but on a much larger scale. Here you will have to destroy literally thousands of infected who attack our positions in huge waves. You will not find anything like this in any other game. Even the zombie hordes from Dead Rising look less impressive. In addition, World War Z pleases with memorable and beautiful levels in different countries of the world. Aliens: Fireteam Elite. Third-person co-op shooter set in the sci-fi universe of Alien. The game will tell about a team of 3 people who fight against hordes of xenomorphs. Events unfold 23 years after the original trilogy. In the role of a spaceship soldier, we have to contain the alien threat. The game will please with a variety of character classes and types of opponents, including xenomorphs, and the gameplay involves breathtaking battles with a superior number of enemies. Minecraft Dungeons. Isometric action RPG, a fresh interpretation of the famous classics in the form of a dungeon crawler role-playing simulator. Without the ability to create weapons and items, dig underground and build buildings. Instead, you must gradually overcome swamps, destroyed bridges and canyons, look for armor, weapons and spells for powerful attacks. The gameplay is presented in the form of a big quest in which players have to punish the main boss and get to the treasure. Serious Sam 4. The fourth part of the famous action from the first person, in which the central role will again be played by Sam, an expert in the destruction of hordes of alien troops that attacked Earth. The plot of the fourth part is a prequel to the entire series. Its events unfold even before the events of the third part. The game will please with innovations, for example, huge open levels full of opponents and side tasks. In some levels, you can find special vehicles such as a tractor, as well as special artifacts that allow you to make Sam even stronger and more deadly than before. As before, the game supports the cooperative storyline and offers several multiplayer modes. Like my top? Then it's time to like this video. It's not difficult for you, but it's nice for us. Thank you. Dying Light 2, Stay Human. This is a bigger and bolder sequel that improves on the original in every way. It has not only one of the most enjoyable movement systems, but also interesting characters and tasks that will help us take a break from running around. Those who are afraid of the horrors of the night can attract up to 3 more people. It's nice to know that co-op partners have your back. Bang on Balls, Chronicles. An absurd platformer about balloons in the colors of national flags, inspired by comics. As heroes, balls are used, which can change in size. They should be customized at your own discretion, choosing a country, a headdress, a shield, a sword, and other elements. After that, we are sent to fight and explore locations. The result is a perfect adventure, moderately absurd and moderately fun, with huge levels full of content and co-op for 4 players. Blazing Sails. Bright battle royale with sea battles in the Caribbean region. Instead of landing on the islands, local heroes board sailing ships and go on pirate raids. They capture the islands, sink the ships of competitors, share the booty, drink rum from the neck, hang on the gallows and feed the fish. A feature of the game is the possibility of joint control of the ship. One player controls the ship, another shoots the cannon, a third distributes ammunition, and a fourth closes up the hull holes. Spellbreak, a multiplayer battle royale where players do not run around the map in search of weapons, but turn into battle mages and learn spells. Before each battle, players choose a mage class. Traditionally, they all have different playstyles and skills, such as teleportation, time control, creating electric lightning or fire tornadoes. Scattered around the map are crates containing magical runes that also give players magical effects. Zombie Army 4, Dead War. Third-person co-op zombie shooter set in the Sniper Elite Sniper action universe, but in a parallel reality. The gameplay is based on the same cooperative formula of joint passage, without which it is simply impossible to break through the living dead. The story-driven campaign for 4 players will introduce us to post-war Italy. After completing the story, you can go to the expanded Horde mode, where the map increases in size, the zombies become more and more, and eventually players will have to engage in hand-to-hand combat. The Ascent, cyberpunk cooperative role-playing action game. The 4-player co-op gameplay combines the exploration of a futuristic city with furious gunfights using heavy weapons. A group of players can use cool technological gadgets that open up new tactical possibilities to destroy strong opponents. Gadgets also allow you to take control of security systems and modify bodies. "10 Miles to Safety." Post-apocalyptic action in a procedurally generated world, captured by infected people. The few survivors are forced to loot houses and shops, looking for vehicles, weapons, materials, blueprints and supplies. But this is during the day, and at night, mutated infected crawl out onto the city streets, which can only be stopped by barricades and traps. The only way to survive until dawn is through teamwork. The gameplay is based on the phased exploration of the city and the collection of supplies along the way. 4 players can take part in the session in co-op mode. Marvel's Avengers. The co-op gameplay here allows up to 4 players to dress up as Earth's mightiest hero in separate missions. The game does not have a full-fledged joint passage. There is a certain hub ship, the ability to create a party and select a task on the map. Basically, in these missions, you just need to kill the enemies along the way by completing additional objectives. The gameplay of the single-player campaign is maximally saturated with animated videos and battle scenes, in which the player often encounters big villainous bosses. To fight them, the heroes have unique skills and types of attacks. Grounded. A game about the survival of kids in the world of insects from the Masters of Obsidian. The plot is simple: the kids were reduced and thrown into the yard. Now they have to survive among giant insects, fighting with spiders for garbage and valuable materials. Despite the deceptive appearance, the real cruel world of millimetric predators hides behind neat cartoonish graphics. You can play with up to 4 players, together developing from a spidery snack to lawn lords with their own fortress of sticks and leaves. Monster Hunter: Rise. Role-playing slasher in which monster hunters fight huge monsters, and from the obtained trophies they make new armor and weapons. This time we find ourselves in a Japanese village, the only center of civilization that has survived after a global catastrophe. The village is constantly attacked by various monsters and we have to protect it. That's all for me. The Image Game channel was broadcasting for you. By everyone.